Hello, Dirk Niblick of the Math Brigade. Oh, hello, Mommy dearest. You somehow got my new number, eh? You sly matron. I see. You say you love triple play on Square One TV, and you wonder if all triangles are equilateral. Oh, no, Mommy dearest. There are lots of different triangles, but all of the triangles on triple play are equilateral. What is an equilateral triangle? Well, it's a triangle with three sides of the same length. Thank you, mother of me. I feel the same way about you. Mom gives me great support. In fact, I just got her check this morning.
I know all the angles. Angle dancing's the latest fad. Make two lines meet at a throbbing beat. The results will drive you mad. If you learn all the angles, you can dance to my angle song. To start, bend your knees 45 degrees. Everybody crawl along. Angle dance, angle dance. Find the point where two lines merge. Angle dance, angle dance.
Come, let's make our paths converge.
Once you know all the angles, a two-person square's a breeze. It's quite cut and dry. Stretch one arm to the side to raise the other one 90 degrees. Next, hang a friend from the ceiling. If he loves you, I know he won't care. Clasp his hands real tight, get those angles right. There, you've done it, you've made a square. Angle dance, angle dance. Help me measure these angles, please. Angle dance, angle dance.
We're all doing it by degrees.
Angle dance, angle dance. Make a circular turn on your toe. Angle dance, angle dance.
In degrees spin 360.
If you try, you can make any angle. If you don't, there's no excuse. This little beaut is called acute, and this wide one is obtuse. Now I've taught you the angles, your angle dancing hip. And if you're inclined, you can go out and find a spatial relationship. Angle dance, angle dance. Come and join me, huh? Angle dance, angle dance.
Have some geometric fun.
Angle dance, angle dance. Let's hope our math's correct. Angle dance, angle dance.
Gee, it's great when lines connect.
Angle dance, angle dance. Come and join me, hon. Angle dance, angle dance.
Test your mathematical wits against those of today's contestants on the game show of number smarts and geometric skill. Hi, I'm Reggie Cathy, and welcome to Triple Play. Oh, yes. And now a lady who's got all the angles covered, our hostess, Miss Cynthia Darlow.
Thank you, Reg. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you here on Triple Play. Here's how we play the game. The object is to get three numbers on the board that, with the line segments connecting them, form an equilateral triangle. Now, to get a number on the board, you spin these two wheels. Ajamu, would you spin for me, please? Once you get two numbers, you have a few seconds to yell out the product or sum of those two numbers, and that number will light up on the board. The first person to get an equilateral triangle and yell out Triple Play wins the game. On the right wheel, there's a Square One TV. If that comes up, you can let that be any number you want it to be. Now let's meet our contestants. Hi, your name is?
Roxanne Perez.
Would you speak up for us, Roxanne?
Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne, nice to have you here today. I understand you like to jump rope.
Yeah.
Can you do double dutch and all that fancy stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so terrible at that when I was your age. That's great. Congratulations, and we're glad to have you here on the show. Ajamu, your full name is?
Ajamu Cummings.
Good. Nice to see you here today. What do you like to do after school?
Well, I like to play football.
Oh, what position?
Well, really anything.
Have you gotten hurt yet? Good. Well, I'm glad you're here with us today. Now, I believe you won the toss backstage, right? So you go first. It's time to play. Go ahead and spin. 5, 10.
5 plus 10 is 15.
15 green. Roxanne, your turn. 3, 8.
3 times 8 is 24.
24 purple. Ajamu, your spin. 3, 9.
9 plus 3 is 12.
12 green. Roxanne, your turn. 1, square 1 TV.
1 plus 10 is 11.
11 purple. Okay, Ajamu, your turn. Good strategy. 1, 9.
1 times 9 is 9.
9 green. Roxanne, your turn. 5, 12.
5 times 12 is 60.
60 purple. Ajamu, your turn. 4, square 1 TV.
4 times 10 is 40.
40 green. Roxanne, your turn. 3, 10.
3 times 10 is 30.
30 purple. Ajamu, your turn again. 4, square 1 TV.
4 plus 38 is 42.
42 green. Okay, Roxanne, your turn.
Triple play.
Whoa! Did the judges accept that? We've got a triple play. Call out the numbers.
15, 42, and 40.
Congratulations, you got it. Woo! Very well done, Ajamu. That was a good game. It was really a pleasure having you both here today. Roxanne, we have a lovely runner-up prize for you of a Square One t-shirt. And Ajamu, for you, we have a Square One TV sweater. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks a lot. And thank you for being with us here today on Triple Play. I hope you'll join us again real soon the next time. Bye-bye for now.
Mathman, your mission is to eat all the parallelograms on the board and no other polygons. When you encounter a polygon, you will have until the count of 3 to make your decision. And beware the unpleasant Mr. Glitch. He will eat you if you are wrong.
Mathman, 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 Mathman.
Whoa.
Parallelograms.
Oh, no.
Mathman, 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 Mathman. Parallelograms. Mathman, Mathman.
Buongiorno.
Nope, opposite sides aren't parallel.
Bye-bye.
Mathman, 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 Mathman. Parallelograms. Mathman, 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 Mathman. Oh, only one pair of parallel sides. Mathman, 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 Mathman,
Introducing the world's most popular calculator, your head. So practical, so useful, everybody has one. Why? Because it works. Watch. What's 5 times 15?
Let's see, 2 15s are 30, so 4 15s are 60, and one more is 75.
Ha-ha, exactly right. And it's the only calculator that can think out loud and give you the answer with a smile on its face. Want to see more? What's 12 times 29?
Let's see, 12 times, no, maybe, can I use my fingers?
No, just use your head. The world's most popular calculator.
Thank you.
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Tuesday, 6:43 p.m., and the weather had turned so hot in Los Angeles that famed restaurateur Al Fresco was frying eggs on the sidewalk in front of his cafe. I was working the day watch out of Mathnet. The boss is Thad Green. My partner is George Franklin. My name is Monday. I'm a mathematician. Our work week had started out slowly when George decided to try and help a TV personality, Mike Pliers, get his show back on the air. His popular children's show had been canceled because of low ratings. In other words, not enough people were watching him. We decided to view a few scenes from earlier episodes to get our heads started. Both George and Jerry Lynn, a Mike Pliers fan, were outraged at the cancellation.
Besides, what are ratings anyway?
They are a way of estimating how many people are watching a particular television show, Jerry Lynn.
How do they know? Does somebody go around and ask everybody?
We explained a valid mathematical technique called sampling, in which a small number of people can represent a larger number of people.
Well, Jerry, if you wanted to find out how many people were watching a particular program, say that funny sitcom called I Thought It Was Your Nose, you couldn't very well go and ask everyone in Los Angeles.
There are more than 13 million people in this area.
So what do they do?
They sample the population carefully.
Sample?
They use a small group to represent the entire group.
Then what?
Then they ask the small group what show they were watching. They use those answers to estimate what the entire group is watching, and it's pretty darn accurate.
To get even more accurate data about exactly how the ratings and the sampling worked, we decided to pay a call on the Hoover Rating Service and ask them.
Mr. Watching, we'd like you to explain to us how your sample works.
Many people wonder about it. That's why I've set up this permanent display to explain it to advertisers and their agencies. Here, as you can see, we have...
flat marbles.
Very good, young person. We'll call them flat marbles, green and yellow. Would you please don this blindfold?
Well worth watching asked Jerry Lynn to count out 1,000 marbles from the container. Because she was blindfolded, she couldn't see what colors she was picking. George counted the number of green marbles Jerry had picked and came up with 284. Jerry Lynn subtracted that number from 1,000 to get the total number of yellow marbles she had picked.
284 from 1,000 is 716.
Right. Now, let's pretend that all the flat marbles in the container represent people watching television. And they have 2 shows they can watch.
Why only 2? I can watch about 10 different shows at any one time.
It's just for purposes of the experiment. We can add more colors into the mix, but this will simplify the point. Now, look at this chart.
What is that?
A chart which shows the numbers from the last 20 people who did the experiment. Now, I kept track of how many green ones they picked in their sample of 1,000. Notice that they nearly all got between 270 and 330.
What about this one? It's about 250.
Well, that is an exception, where the number of green ones fell below the 270. But statistics tells us in this case that most of the time our estimate has only a small margin of error, about 3% of the sample size.
A sample of 1,000. 3% of 1,000 is 30.
So typically the estimates are off by no more than 30 either way. 30 too big or 30 too small. We were satisfied that the ratings were accurate, and George was resigned that his favorite program, The Mike Pliers Show, had somehow become unpopular. Then we got a phone call from an important person. George, that was Mr. Hoover.
From the Hoover Rating Service?
The same. He wants to have a secret meeting.
Secret meeting?
Someone broke into his computer system. He thinks the ratings might have been tampered with. Mr. Hoover asked us to meet him in an underground garage in the middle of downtown Los Angeles. A strange meeting place, we thought. But then, Mr. Hoover was a stickler for security.
I was just looking at a funny picture of my dog.
Mr. Hoover was obviously a man of secrecy, security, mystery, and intrigue.
Sorry we're late, Mr. Hoover.
The traffic around El Monte was a killer.
Thank you for coming. Sorry for the inconvenience.
You said on the phone that someone broke into your computer system?
Yes, I know I did.
I guess we don't know what that means, Mr. Hoover.
I don't know either, Mr. Franklin. That's why I need your help. As you can see, it is essential that our system remain an absolute secret, so that our ratings can remain pristine and above reproach. That's because there's a bundle riding on them.
Were the ratings tampered with, Mr. Hoover?
That's the mystery. They don't seem to have been, but I can't tell for sure. I want you to review the data for me.
When do you think the break-in occurred, Mr. Hoover?
I know exactly when it occurred. 24 days ago, 9:43 p.m. It was recorded in the computer.
Why did you take so long to get help?
I thought I could do it myself. Find out who broke in and have him arrested.
Or her.
Have him arrest her?
How many people had access to the password to the system?
13. Here's a list of them.
Thanks. Maybe it was someone from outside the company.
Impossible. 13 people, and only 13 people, know that password. It had to be one of them. But the problem is...
Yes?
Yes?
Yes? You were saying, the problem is...
Yes, I heard me. Oh. I have brought this information from the computer for the past 3 months. Please, go through it with
a fine-tooth comb?
If you wish. But go through it and find out if there's anything unusual. If there is, I haven't been able to find it. And now?
Yes?
Yes.
I'm out of here!
Kate, I was just thinking, what if Mr. Hoover broke into his own computer system?
Why would he do that, George?
I don't know. But he wears a mask. And people who wear masks usually have something to hide. It was a funny picture of his dog.
We returned to the office at 8:43 p.m. and asked Debbie Williams, our computer expert, if she could lend us a hand and analyze the Hoover ratings data we had obtained from Mr. Hoover. She said she could. George and I decided to talk to the 13 people who had access to the computer system. There were 13 people who knew the password for the computer rating system. So far, everyone had an alibi for the night in question. We were speaking with our 12th possibility, a Mr. Dwight Ledbetter. He, too, seemed to have an ironclad alibi.
Are you sure, Mr. Ledbetter?
That my leg was broken? Yeah.
No, that it was broken on the night in question.
Of course. A broken leg isn't something one soon forgets.
How did it happen?
I was sitting home about this time late at night when the doorbell rang.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know who in the heck would have the insensitivity to bother a citizen in the middle of the night, so I hurried to the door and opened it, of course.
Of course. Late at night, you'd wonder who was insensitive enough to.
It happened to be a couple of LAPD cops. They're trying to sell me tickets to the policeman's ball.
Uh-huh. And your leg broke?
No, not then. I told them I was allergic to dancing, so they turned and left the porch, right about where you're standing.
I see.
I closed the door, turned around, stepped on my cat.
I'm sorry.
That scared me.
I'm sure.
I think I jumped right up in the air.
Straight up, I'll bet.
And right down on my wife's skateboard.
Martha's always leaving hers in the laundry room.
I was whipped into the kitchen on it when my son opened the refrigerator to get a late-night snack.
Boy, oh boy.
The door caught me right in the patella.
The old kneecap?
I spun out of control, still on the skateboard, through the back door, across the patio, into my neighbor's yard, and I fell into his driveway.
And that's when the old wheel went flat on you?
No, I was still all right.
Really? That's some stamina.
Until my neighbor came home.
He'd been away?
He was at a garden party. He ran over me in his riding lawnmower. That's when my leg got broken.
Well, I hope we haven't bothered you.
No trouble. No trouble at all.
Thank you.
Oh, no! Not again!
We decided to call it a night and pick up the hunt the following day. It was Wednesday, 9:43 a.m., and George and I arrived at the office at the same time. I had called Debbie to ask her if she could make heads or tails of the data. She said we should talk.
These are all the studies you made?
Morning, Mathnetters. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Good morning. I was just in the neighborhood. Thought I'd stop in, say hello.
Well, hello, Mike.
Hi, Mike. What's shaking?
I thought you might want one of these. Found them in my dressing room when I cleaned it out the other day.
What's this?
Oh, an official Mike Pliers badge. And decoder.
Be a collector's item soon. Sorry, I just brought the two.
Oh, well, give mine to Debbie. I got one at home.
Happy secret messages from Mike Pliers.
Thank you. Sorry to bring us back to reality, but I've been looking at this information.
Anything unusual?
I've charted these data, which indicate sets in use.
Sets in use? You mean TV sets turned on at any given time?
Exactly. And this chart indicates time of day. And it's the average over a one-year period. Notice at 6 o'clock in the morning, there are very few television sets in use.
Well, that's when most people are still sleeping.
Uh-huh.
Even if I'm up at 6 in the morning, I usually don't watch TV.
Right.
I usually drink orange juice.
As the day goes on, more and more people watch TV, and the graph looks like this. Here we are at 10 a.m. This is noon.
It seems to peak between 9 and 10 o'clock at night.
That's the prime time. Almost 70% of all households are watching television. Then when people go to bed, they turn their sets off.
What's this?
This is a chart that indicates sets in use during the period of time Mr. Hoover just measured. This is a 13-week cycle, and as you can see...
Almost the same. Nothing unusual.
Right. Here's a chart that shows the top 10 shows for the past year. Here's a chart showing those shows for the past 13 weeks. Again, a little normal fluctuation. Nothing unusual.
What about the bottom 10 shows?
Believe it or not, some of those shows had such a small audience, they couldn't even be measured.
I have to rub it in.
Let's look at Mike's ratings. Can we, Debbie?
These are data for the past 13 weeks that relate to the 6:30 to 7 p.m. time period.
Everything seems to go along rather smoothly. No big changes, except...
Except me. Boy, I'm line F. Did I take a nosedive?
You sure did, Mike.
And look there. The Vicious Vinny show took off about the time you started to drop.
I noticed that same thing. So I pulled out those two shows to get a closer look. Look at this.
That is dramatic. But still...
Kate, when did you say this computer break-in happened?
Mr. Hoover said it was 3.5 weeks ago.
Look when it happened.
Just when the ratings changed.